So today, we're going to go ahead and work on some saddling, kind of mock saddling routine. Get him used to something being thrown up on his back, strapped around his belly. See how he handles that.
Notice that I am deliberately making noise with the equipment.
So you never want to be sneaky about it. You want to make sure that he hears all the rattles, all the different things it does. Let him smell it.
I like to show them every piece of the equipment as well as dropping it to the ground. In case you ever approach your horse and something falls out of your hands, you want your horse to be prepared emotionally to have something like that happen. I'm deliberately shaking it in a way that someone might do if they drop something in the dirt. A lot of times, people don't even think how spooky that could be for a horse, so it's my job to prepare them to not be worried about something like that happening. My goal right now is to just get him to allow me to rub it on his back, and then on his neck, and down his back, and then eventually place it on his back. With a manageable length of rope, I'm allowing him to feel like he has the option to escape. Sometimes, you can make this process much more terrifying and cause the horse to freeze in fear by not allowing them to move their feet. My goal is to prove to him that he can move his feet. That way, when he makes the decision to not move his feet on his own, it is in true evidence of his growing confidence.
So I'm going to do this side, I'm going to do the other side again, and I'm going to wait for him to lick and chew. Because clearly he's doing the statue for me right now. So I want him to lick and chew. So I know that he didn't just go kind of out on me. So let's see if he can't watch for that.
So here I'm talking about preparing to wait for his lick and chew. When a horse licks and chews, it's usually evidence that something that you've done has finally registered or makes sense. It's kind of how horses process information in a visceral way. It's something that I make important to me to wait for. Sometimes, if a horse is very high on adrenaline or stressed out about the exercise, they may sit there with their head held high in a stressed position, holding their breath, and having a hard time processing things. It's so important to wait for the processing time to allow the horse to lower their head. Come back halfway up,
Okay,
licking
so
and
put his
chewing,
nose
and you
down.
can visibly see a calm
He
and
gave a
even
good
an
sigh that
understanding
was
come over
nice,
them.
but I'd like to see him either come off with some of the adrenaline or show us that he understood that it wasn't meant to hurt him. The longer you take for this process, very nice, the better it is for him. If I just decided to come out here and I'm doing this today and I rush through it, I could create a pattern for the rest of his life of negativity that he never had a chance to digest what we were doing to him. And although he learned to tolerate it, it didn't mean that it ever was good for him. So if he lost interest, then I'm going to go ahead and go back to touching with it. If he stayed somewhat focused, I would have waited longer, but he's lost interest. So I'm going to move on now. Hoping the lick will see for this next process here. Now I'm going to touch the insure with it. We had some vet work done to him, and he'd find out that the can cow kicks pretty well. So I'm going to be a little cautious of that.
And with his newfound confidence in what just happened, it's time for him to be curious. Horses cannot be curious if they're afraid.
Okay, I think I would like cheeseburger. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can't put it on both sides.
Take note to the length of rope that I am offering him. He now
I'm not
feels
being
confident
careful
enough to
not
not need to
flapping
move
off the
his feet.
strap because I want anything that could eventually happen to him one day. I want it to happen to him the first day. There's no sense in telling him, "Oh, get used to it on the quiet way," and then one day you're in a hurry or you're just not thinking. You think he's one of your more seasoned horses, and you go and you flop the saddle around, and next thing you know he's coming tight to the end of your line. So see if he can tolerate it staying on him, which that may end up being something that he goes, "Oh my God, that's still there," which he just did, but he's trying to digest it. Maybe look see if it's on this side too. Oh, that's still there. You're okay. So he does tend to come to me for help, so I'm going to help him this time. See if we can leave it on there a little bit longer this time. Now, right now, he's completely unaware. And one of the things that you always have to watch in your horse is where is his focus. Because now, in about 2 seconds, he'll focus back onto his back, and that could be something like, "Oh my God." Okay, so I go back up there, leave it on, watch his focus. His focus is on it now instead of off to the distance, so he may be quicker to come to me and ask me to take it off. But maybe it'd be nice that he started off focused on it and now he's lost his attention to it, so that'd be real nice to see if he can do that and then get focused on it again and not panic. Okay, I'm happy with that, and there's our looking shit. So I'm gonna leave him alone for a second and let him digest all that just happened. I wouldn't even be surprised if he yawned. I'd love it if he actually took a step towards me, knowing that I have this in my hand, and that he's not afraid or wishing I'd go away with it, so I don't accidentally encourage it to drop the line.
I'm not having stomach cramps. Ha ha ha. I'm trying to see if my posture would invite him to come to me.
So he lost his interest again. So we go back to work. He stays focused and interested in what we're doing. We stay working. So we allow that rest time. If he loses his interest or changes his focus, And I don't allow any more rest time.
Here I'm talking about if the horse stays focused on what we're doing. I
Now
allow the
take
rest
it on and
time.
off,
The more rest time he
turning
gets,
it from
the
one
better he
side,
might process what we're doing.
taking it off
But
the
as
other
soon as he
side,
takes his attention away and starts to
allowing
focus
him
on
to
other
change.
things, then I go back to
Focus
work.
on
So
which
that way we
side of
get back
him
at the task at
I'm on,
hand.
which side of him I'm taking it off of. I don't want him to protect himself on the inside, so that's why I blocked his head. I don't want him to choose to protect this side of him. They're blocking me from going over there. Okay. So the next thing, before I commit to girthing him, is I'm going to go ahead and put a rope around his belly. Because that I can take off. So I'm just going to go ahead, turn the, so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and give him a little hug.
So what I'm doing here is I'm actually
Still,
taking the rope
I
around
will.
his back and under his belly, and I'm just squeezing it together to create a little bit of a hug around his midsection. This process is a way to simulate what it'll feel like when we cinch up the girth, but also gives us quick ability to undo it in an extreme panic situation. So because he stopped reacting to the squeeze and started to just kind of accept it, that's when I undid it and walked away. That's the best way to release in this particular situation. You want to take away all of the stimulation. So the rope over the back comes off, the squeezing stops, and I just walk away and let him process it.
Give him a squeeze. Give him a squeeze. You're right. I don't remember how we taught him yoga command. But it might have been something like that. He seems to go to that in one. So maybe even what I'll do is I'll ask him to move a little bit. See if he can move with that around his belly and not totally panic. Feel it under his elbows there. Good. I think he's going to require this to go all the way up. A little thin. So, now, preparing myself for him to jump in my direction, I'm actually going to go ahead and get on the other side of him. Because I'm going to drop this piece down, which now will dangle down to his knee. Put that back up. Back again. Put it down. Loosen. Put it back down. Put it back up. My body language is not telling him to move. So I would like for him to read my body and say, oh, you're just doing something next to me. Even if you're pushing something up on me, you're not telling me to go anywhere. Okay. So I'm going to go the other side. See if I can't bring that up on this side. So if you felt that squeeze, not that worried about him feeling a little bit of squeeze right now. Like get him away from me a little bit so when he feels it on him now, he decides to be silly. I don't have to worry about anything on top of me. I am going to want to snug it up once, but I just want to make sure that he's okay. We're going to need to get a smaller girth. Is this something he's just going to fall from? I'm going to go to the top of the side. That's your bone one? Yep. Okay, so I am fully snugging it this time. I think it's snug enough that he's not liking it, which is fine. He's not being a total jerk. He's still just doing what we saw him do in the beginning. Ask him to go back out again. Okay, now he's feeling it squeeze. That's okay. out of pure curiosity, do you want to see if mine is any smaller? That one that I had brought, if it would be tighter? No, this one. That's snug. Okay. Yeah, no, it just, I had to go up another 2 inches before it became snug. Gotcha. So, now, because he likes to jump onto me and he's scared, I know he hasn't fully felt that yet. He's very worried about it in his step, I can tell. So, I'm going to ask him to just right off the bat, instead of saying, hey, he come. I'm going to ask him to move. I want him to feel that kind of snug around him. Give him a little hug as he moves. Right after the stop, feel it kind of rub around him a little bit. Go the other way. Ask him to stop, feel it snug around him again. I'm actually even going to go ahead. So I'm hoping to kind of get a real response out of him. Not that I'm saying please buck. I want him to do any bucking now. So I'm going to go ahead and ask him canter, which he doesn't know. So I'm just going to encourage him to go until we get a canter, and I'm going to use my canter.
So he doesn't actually know the canter cue yet, but I'm installing it in this moment just so that I can encourage him to experience that squeeze around his belly at all gates. Once he understands the canter cue, he'll be able to pick up the canter easily when he's instructed, as opposed to what he does here, which is running until he can't do anything but canter. One thing that I'm doing wrong in this particular video that I'm noticing is when I'm asking for him to upward transition into the canter, my right hand should be pointing ahead for him to understand to increase speed, but instead I'm keeping it down to my side. I have a feeling what was causing me to do that was to keep control of his nose in a downward way. Nonetheless, I should be pointing my hand forward for him to understand that he's supposed to increase his speed.
I'm going to try to ask him to walk, which he does not know online. See if we can teach that to him right now. I got him revved up on purpose, and we're going to see if he's calming down. See if he does. Can you walk? Go on. You want to walk? You want to walk? You're okay. You're okay. Walk. That's it. You good? My energy. Very dizzy energy. Walk.
So when you get a horse really revved up on the circle, and then you want to ask them to simply walk, it is a complete balancing act of your energy. They are more likely to jump back up into at least the trot, if you're not careful with how much energy you apply. I like to ask with only my point forward first, and then gradually take up my support energy, which would be the hand that kind of swings, the rope, or the stick, or whatever you have as your support tool. Usually, if they're already pretty revved up, I'd not use a kiss cue at this point. I try very hard to be sensitive to how quickly they would jump back up into a higher gait, so that way I can help them not make the mistake. His hesitations on whether or not he knows he should walk off or stay standing are very natural. It is my job to tell him that he is okay through the volume of my energy. It is better to wait on him to figure out what it is that I'm asking for. If I were to apply any pressure to say, "Get out of here, why are you just standing there?" he would instantly pick up a faster gait than I'm asking for. Again, it's my job to guide him to the correct answers and help him make the fewest mistakes possible.
Nope, walk. Walk. There you go. So before he looks at something else to do, I'm going to ask him to stop. Move it the other way. Try to establish a walk, which we probably shouldn't try to keep yet. See what we can do. Get a little fire for his feet, so it's not necessarily a good idea to try to keep fire down. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask him to trot, even though I don't want him to break his foot on. So I'm gonna put up the energy again. Asking for a canter.
In this direction, I properly asked for the upward transition, pointing my right hand forward, asking him to increase his speed to the next gate. That is what it was supposed to look like going in the other direction.
Job. Good job. So I can try to get a walk out of him. See if I can get a walk out of him by Nope, you're right. Right. You're right.
These steps and hesitation are just his lack of confidence showing up in his feet. He is not refusing to do as I am asking. He is just not sure he is correct when he starts to go forward, so he stops. Although it might seem like he's refusing to walk, it's important to read his body language of uncertainty here so that you don't punish him. I call those hesitation steps thoughtful steps. I like to say that he's thinking through each step that he takes. Once he's pretty sure that he's doing it right, you will notice a nice cadence to his step. Let's start playing with transitions.
Ask for a trot again. See if I can walk again. Yeah. Trot again. Walk again. Walk. Walk. Trot again. Now I'm gonna ask for the canter. Trot. See if I can get to walk now. Right now it's gonna change direction. Well, he takes this on his own. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the walk again. And to help him, because he wants to trot, I'm gonna ask for it. I didn't ask for it, yo. He doesn't talking. Go ahead. I'm gonna ask for it after I establish the walk, say 3 or 4 strides. I'm going to ask him to trot. And that's just to help him out, because that's really what he wants to do. But I got the walk that I wanted before I asked for that, and I wanted it to be my idea. He's thinking about cantering, so I'm even going to help him again. I'm going to ask him to trot.
Because I asked for the trot out of the canter, I had to ask him to trot from the stop. When I ask for something, I ask until I get it. It could have been easy
Now
to
we're going to
just
try to
walk off
establish
from the
that walk
stop,
again.
but that would have created gray. I always want my communication to be black and white. Gray is the color of confusion.
This time I'm going to ask him to maintain it. And he establishes it. I'd like to see him put his head down, relax into that walk. That's nice. I'd like to see his head even lower. There. Now I'm going to ask him to stop. I'm going to invite him in between me. Stand up and he's in enough space for me. They scare you all day. I don't think they get enough activity. They love that. He's a because they accept it when you first put it on them, and they think that they accepted it. It may not have. They might have just been working their way through it. Doesn't mean that they were doing anything but building anxiety about it. And the minute it comes off, it's the last time they're ever going to allow it. So you always want to make sure. The fact that he wants to look and smell, I'm going to allow that. He's almost insistent if you see he's really trying to look. I'll turn him on when he gets closer. The more seasoned ones, they wait till they get to the stop sign. But the kids, they like to start way over the hill.
So do you think he's more of an internalist or something? Like, did you see, other than one or two questions, did you see a lot of him absorbing or not so much?
Did you see the difference in his canter than Luxor's
Oh,
canter?
for sure, head down, almost like Ritz, like getting into it.
He was paying attention to what I was going to do next.
Okay.
His head was not straight up in the air, and his eyes almost focused back into his own head.
Right. So that's really, really what you want.
Yes. I would like a little more nose tipped into me. I'd like one more ear, a little more ear on me.
Yeah.
But what he gave me for the first time I've officially said I would like you to canter,
Right.
which we established yesterday or Sunday.
Sure.
He learned what it meant. He just hadn't had it applied yet.
Right. And now, because he, it's obviously a Canadian animal, because he did fuck today doesn't mean he will not, right?
Nope. It's possible that the heavier saddle. This is obviously not very heavy. This is equivalent to a bareback or to a saddle pad.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he initially did not care for the squeeze. I don't care if he wants to test it and stuff on it. Very expensive saddle pad, but saddle bareback pad. Huh?
Then we'll look at another.
But he likely wants to paw it also. Chewing on your rope, though. I don't want to ruin the moment. That's just, I don't want to make him, I don't want to yell at him for anything right now.
Let's wait, just did her after.
I thought so too. I sprayed myself with bitter apple. Rich didn't care.
No? That's not that man.
A mockingbird is here. He's gonna sing to us. What do you think, Ann? Can I throw that back up on you? Or you want to call it quits? Unless you're planning on cleaning it for me. So that's good feedback. You can't ask for better feedback than that. It wasn't just the Blue Jay who made that. He has a lot of really pretty little birds I don't know, but I know the Blue Jay. So you can also do a seagull, which is weird. Like how he must have spent some time around the parking lot, grocery store parking lot or something. And again, I'm not sneaky. I like to make it like, one trainer I loved watching him. He actually would pretend like he's drunk, throw it on the horse, and really giving the impression that, that it does not matter how much I fumble. You stand there. I don't think he's physically sturdy enough for me to kind of slam into him. I think I would actually bend in stumbling. Not scared, just can't stand upright.
Right.
I mean, he's a lot healthier, but he still got a ways to go.
Sure.
Yeah, that's a good job. What do you think? Can you handle that, you think? Yeah, can you handle all that? Can you handle that? Quick. Any of those itch? That one itch or bit? That's not so bad, is it? And for your reference, so long as the wire scratch or rubbery, you can satisfy it hits by scratching, but if you get them like a steady rub, then they're gonna experience if they're doing it longer. What do you think? You good? Can you get it again? I like his curiosity. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of suspicion of what you're gonna do to him, but I think his bravery is good. What is that part? And as long as you're willing to do stuff like that with him, he'll always get a chance to digest stuff.
Yeah, he definitely.
Well, then, you get to a point where you don't have to do it. But the fact that you allow him when he asks, because he's been asking you to do stuff. So if you allow it when he asks, he's going to be more likely to ask, and then he's going to be more likely to trust that you're going to accommodate that. We're not going to do that. We're not going to fight it. Should I dare let you loose?
Well, sorry, do the time then to try to get him back. Let me 2.2. Can't escape your house.